Okay, great. Now, these guys have all been selected because they have worked multiple projects with, from the faculty standpoint and staff with Matt, had multiple, not just ITN projects, but they have worked with private sector many times. And also EarthNet has worked with faculty multiple times. So the first question that I want to put to you is there's a lot of faculty here in the room, some of which are not connected to energy at all, to the energy sector. So how do you reach out and connect with the private sector? How do you identify and find a partner that makes sense to even talk about any type of collaboration? And Brian, when we get to you, certainly the flip side, how do you reach out and find a faculty member like you have? So Hans, you want to start?
Okay, well, let me tell you about two different things, one that was successful, one that was not. When I came here in my early years here at Dickinson, I invented these kinesthetic physics demonstrations. So here at Dickinson, we had just started the workshop physics program, hands-on physics teaching. And I thought, this is great. Why not take it to the ultimate? And for me, that was taking the student, incorporating the student into the experiment. So I do the human slingshot and stuff like that. So the student is in the experiment. And so I invented a couple of cards where the students write. I collide my students. There are soda cans in the front. And so these are physics demonstration equipment apparatus. And through one of my colleagues, Priscilla Laws, we met Paul Stockstedt from Pasco. And some of you might know this is now one of the leading physics demonstration equipment manufacturers. And I remember the moment when I met with Paul in the parking lot, and I showed him my little card. And he's like, God, that's pretty cool. And that's how we got that card into the catalog. Of course, there were like close to 2 years between the card and the catalog, redevelopment, redesign, finally, a card design that made money and worked. I kept a little bit track of the numbers, and I think we're like at 1,000 some cards in different colleges, universities, and so forth. I do not have a patent for that one. Neither does Pasco, and that's when we get to patent and talk about patents later on. So, then there's another card, and a thermodynamic engine. Thermodynamic engine, very transparent, works with coffee. I walk into the class, I have a hot coffee and a cup of ice water, and my thermodynamic engine works with hot coffee. I work with hot coffee too. Cold coffee, it works. Coffee and cold water, and that's a very primitive thermodynamic engine, and that is also in the catalog. Again, no patent. Then I had this idea about a dental device. If you ever need a crown, they give you a temporary crown, and the dentists have these little devices that yank out the crowns, and the instruction manual says, the assistant shall hold the head of the patient, and the dentist shall warn the patient of the impending jolt. And I thought, God, I can do that more gently. And so I invented this gentle crown and bridge remover, for temporary crowns and bridges. And I thought, that would be very useful. That's what the world wants. You have, so many dentists out there. And so we applied for an ITN grant. We built it, and we have a marvelous little device, and I should have brought it along. And so we were so excited about it. We went to Dentsply in York.
And how did you do that? How did you find Dentsply?
This happened through Mark Toda from Pentap. And they are just there for you, if you're a faculty member, to connect you to industry. That's what they specialize in. And so through KIZ ITN, we made the connection to Mark, and Mark came, visited with us, and I said, I've never gone to a company. What do you say? How do you, how do you dress? How do you walk in? Do you talk to the secretary? No idea. Mark took us by his hand. We walked in there. We met with the engineer and so forth. And it turned out they were looking for a crown and bridge remover. Yes, but not a temporary one for temporary crowns and bridges, but the real thing. And they said, yeah, for the last 2-3 years, we're trying to find one. We had pig's teeth, and we brought some dentists in. They put crowns on, and guess what? They couldn't get the crowns off. They got the whole tooth out, including the root. And today's cements are so such that you cannot get the crown off anymore. And the people there at Dentsply told us, well, if you go back to countries in Europe, the former East Bloc countries, where they have different kinds of cements that are brittle, your device will work. And so we're sitting on it. So this is one story that worked, no patents. The other one, we have a patent pending, or a provisional patent, and we'll talk about that later also. And it's stuck in the drawer, collecting dust. Okay, so I have a little
Let me
comment
ask you
at the end.
a follow-up question, though, on that. So the second Dentsply, you reached out to the support system that's already here, which a lot of people don't know is folks like Mark. It's the SBDC, it's Mantech.
Mantech.
I mean, there's all kinds of Ben Franklin Technology Partners. There's a whole lot of us out there to support you and try to help connect you. So you need to know that those resources are there. For the first situation with the woman from your department,
Right.
was that a conversation, simply a conversation you had with her to say, this is what I'm looking for, and she said, boy, I know someone. How did that connection, how did you find Paul?
She made the connection.
So
she
you
said,
spoke with her, and she said,
she
I
was
know
right
Paul.
in the middle. She knew Paul,
Okay.
and from earlier conferences, she knew me here in the department, and she just made that connection.
And where
brought
does
us
she work?
Together, here at Dickinson.
Okay, so it's a matter of also not keeping your ideas and what you want to do to yourself.
Right.
So for
Right.
folks who are looking to expand and reach out, you got to tell somebody.